Now that we have our player and our monster inside of the battle window, it's time for us to create our battle actions. We're going to use something called a command pattern. A command pattern is a type of design pattern in programming that allows us to encapsulate actions inside of a class and reuse them over and over again. We're going to build a generic action, which will be the base for any of the actions we add into our RPG. In this case, we'll end up building a simple attack one. To get started, let's go into our Battle Systems folder, into Scripts, and create a new C# script. We're going to call this Generic Battle Action. And let's open it up in MonoDevelop. Now, our battle action is going to be a scriptable object just like our actors. So let's make it extend scriptable object. We'll also delete the start and update methods. At the top of our class, let's add a name. So we'll do public new string name. Next, we'll create a protected field typed as string, and we're going to call this message. And we'll set it equal to undefined battle action message. Whenever we perform a battle action, we're going to modify this message so that we can display to the player what happened during the action. Next, we're going to need to create a new method. We'll start by making this public, and we're going to use the keyword virtual, which will allow us to override it when we extend this class later on. Its return type will be void, and we're going to call this action. Inside of our action method, we're going to pass in an actor called target1 and another actor called target2. We're going to keep this as generic as possible. This way, when the player goes to call an action, we'll pass the player in first and the monster in second. When the monster performs an action, we'll reverse it and pass the monster in first and the player second. Let's just add a note for ourselves here. We'll make a comment saying to override with action logic. Since this is a generic class, we're not going to add any code into this method. It's up to us to extend this class and add that logic for it. The last thing we're going to do is we want to override the built-in toString method to return our message. So let's type in override and select toString. Here, we're going to return our message. Now, whenever we perform an action, we simply need to call toString in order to get a message back that describes what happened in the action. This is common in a lot of RPGs, which are primarily very text-heavy. So every time an action is performed, the player will see a text status that we'll use in our message window at the bottom of the screen to let them know what the attack value was and how many hit points were lost from either the player or the monster, depending on who attacks.